disturbing things from around the internet. Gra, gra, gra. That's me as fuck, Smooth.
The year is 2020. A woman and her husband move into a duplex, sharing a home with two other tenants, an elderly woman and her adult daughter. For the first 3 months,
duplex.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary. In fact, they never see them, and not once do they interact. At least, until...
Excuse me, chat. Hold on.
This begins seemingly out of nowhere and appears to have no end in sight. Every single time they do this, their dog freaks out, causing their newborn to cry and causing the banging to only become worse. It's a constant back and forth dynamic, and things are quickly spiraling out of control. The cops aren't doing anything, the landlord is no help, and so, at their wits' end, they take to reddit.com to air out their grievances and to seek advice. At 11:09 p.m. on September 13th of 2020, a Redditor named Peaches and Glitter ventures to r/legal advice to make a post titled, "Delusional neighbor bangs on the shared wall when our baby cries, and nothing can be done about it?"
Appreciate you, Nylu.
It reads the following. I live in a duplex in Washington State with my husband and my son, who is only a few months old. My father-in-law owns half the duplex and is renting it to us, and the other half is owned by an older woman and her adult daughter. My father-in-law has known the women for over 15 years and told us before we moved in that the daughter was mentally ill and had strong delusions on occasion that caused trouble with the previous tenants. The last tenants apparently had to get a civil anti-harassment order placed against the daughter, but eventually moved out when the behaviors never stopped.
Why would
Apparently,
you move
the neighbor
in there
accused
then?
them of kidnapping and abusing their children, and even abusing their dogs. My husband and I brought our son home a few months ago, and we didn't have any issues.
Hold on. Chat. First, let's guess what color these people are first. Second, even my uncle does own the duplex. If he's like, yeah, Steve, I got you, bro. Like, we gonna work something out. You know, you can pay a little less on the rent than you would usually pay. I got you. But, you know, the other owner of the duplex that may be living on the other side of the building or of your apartment has a daughter. She a little off. She tried to kidnap the previous tenant's children, but it's nothing crazy. You know, I mean, nothing that bad. You know, you paying less on rent. I'm not living there. This whole story would be done because I'm not living there, bro. But hey, sometimes you do what you gotta do, I guess.
With the neighbor
Choices were made. Shout out to Rick Thompson.
She has begun banging on and throwing things at the walls when our son cries. She screams at us as well, but I usually can't hear what she's actually saying. You know, over the screaming baby and the two dogs going absolutely ballistic because of the banging. It's absolute chaos, and it's made my postpartum anxiety so much worse. Every time the baby cries, I experience intense panic, waiting for the screaming and banging to start. We've called the non-emergency police line twice when I can't handle it anymore, and the first time they talked to her and she stopped doing it as often. Maybe once every 2 days. Tonight though, she's back at it and worse than ever. The air quality is so bad right now from the fires that I can't let the dogs out for long to stop them from barking. and the barking makes the baby cry harder, which makes the neighbor scream and pound on the walls harder. The officer I spoke with says we can try to get a civil anti-harassment order placed, but he knew for a fact that her behaviors never stopped after the last tenants tried that, and he said his unofficial advice would be to live somewhere else.
Something light is so crazy.
Is that seriously my only option? We can't afford to move, but I can't keep living like this.
Why move there once your uncle said that to you, though? Unless he said it to him after the fact when they was already moved in there, but if he said that initially, why would you move in there? We're gonna have to figure something else out at that point.
Unfortunately, this post went largely unseen by anyone online, merely generating 40 upvotes and just 10 comments. One user named Lifeguard Ill suggested that the neighbor was merely banging on their wall because they were sick of the noise she was making. She's an owner, so you can't do anything. Your best solution is to properly insulate the wall against sound. From the other point of view, having a newborn baby in a shared dwelling is really shitty to your neighbors from the noise. Just as much as you don't like the pounding, your neighbors hate your crying noises and dogs barking. Maybe your neighbors can't handle the crying anymore. You should really look into soundproofing, or your neighbor could start calling animal control and CPS for all the noise you make. Stop blaming the neighbor when you're the one making all the noise.
That's a crazy bar.
It's an
Lifeguard,
interesting thought
that's
process.
a crazy bar,
However,
brother.
the perspective is entirely valid. They are responsible for half of this duplex, and there's really not much they can do about their distaste for a neighbor. As a matter of fact, that was largely the sentiment of those who did see her post.
Yeah,
There's nothing
right.
she can do. And
Cause
the
she
matter
owned the shit.
was left at that.
Also, Reddit is a very scary place when you think about it.
My first post never got much attention, but the outcome was pretty wild. Short version. In October of 2020, my husband and I were renting in a duplex, where my father-in-law owned the half that we lived in, and a separate family owned the other half. We brought our son home from the NICU in August, and towards the end of September, the neighbor started to pound on the shared wall if she could hear him cry. The pounding escalated over the next 2 months. The neighbor bought a megaphone to yell through the wall and threatened to rip us apart. She called us child predators, and she'd yell obscenities and threats until 3 or 4 in the morning. The police were called multiple times, yet nothing could be done about it. One officer told us, "I'm gonna kill you." See, it doesn't mean anything if I don't actually do it. The elderly mother hadn't been seen in several months, but
That's
requests
a
for
crazy
wellness
bar
checks
from
were
the
brushed off.
officer too. A lot of crazy
The general
bars in
advice
this,
that I
in this
got
video.
was that as renters, we couldn't do anything. It
That's
was
a
also
fact.
suggested that this was reasonable behavior since the crying baby was probably really annoying. Since my first post, we moved in with my grandmother for her safety. The neighbor ended up busting a softball-sized hole through the shared wall to scream at us and occasionally just stare at us. The smell that came out of the hole was indescribably bad. Our security cameras recorded her coming in my son's nursery window at around 2 a.m. almost daily, just staring and holding her cat. It took until the end of January for the police to be able to enter her property. And as it turned out, the elderly mother had been deceased since at least June, and the daughter had the corpse dressed in her Sunday best, rotting in a deadbolted bedroom.
God.
The news article said the mother died from natural causes, and the daughter was taken to an inpatient psychiatric facility.
Bro. Bro. What?
I would be
What
remiss
the
if I didn't
fuck?
state the obvious, that fabricating stories online happens all the time and is
Right,
remarkably
that's
simple
true.
to pull off. In the current online landscape, it almost seems like fake stories outweigh real ones by a large margin, incentivized by online notoriety and the pursuit of upvotes. There was something about this one, though, that seemed eerily specific. The premise was haunting, yet it seemed entirely legitimate. In January of 2021, authorities
Also,
in the
I'm
city
thinking about
of
doing a
Richland,
faceless
Washington,
channel
made their way to the home of Peaches and
at some
Glitter
point.
in response to their 911 call.
I'm about to steal
While
Nexpo
there,
whole flow.
they
I'm
encounter a
not gonna
disgruntled
lie.
45-year-old woman named
I'm about
Angela
to steal his
Griner
whole
through the
flow,
hole she
man.
carved in their shared wall, and immediately notice an overwhelming odor. Because of this, they
this
request
is
to be let
fire.
in to ensure everything there is okay, yet Griner staunchly refused. For over a week, she wouldn't let a single soul in, no matter how hard law enforcement tried. However, what she was unaware of was that police were already in the process of obtaining a warrant, essentially permitting them access, regardless of her consent.
So this shit was true.
By February
oh my
4th,
God, bro.
their warrant's granted, and so Richland PD returns and forces their way inside. And as expected from the revolting odor, the corpse of Griner's mother, a 67-year-old woman named Claudia Kinney, was rotting inside their locked bedroom.
Bro.
She reportedly died from pulmonary emphysema and was believed to have been decomposing inside that home for nearly 7 months.
Oh my God, bro. That's yo.
As stated by the OP, Griner was taken to an inpatient psychiatric facility, and since then, there have been no further updates on her status or whereabouts. The Duplex, to this day, still stands, yet now bears a reputation forever haunted by the grim events that took place there. The story in its entirety drives home the fact that you truly never know who's beside you, who's across from you, who is on the
dead
other
ass.
side of the wall by which you sleep. For months, this family was unknowingly going about their daily lives with the human corpse just feet away from them and completely unaware.
What with the police? When the police would pull up to like ask her to stop banging on the door or the wall or whatever, they never smelled that. They never went in to like when you open the front door, you know, because when she made the hole in the wall, you could smell it. So when she opens the front door for y'all to talk to her, y'all don't smell that? Like, and I get you do need a warrant, so I guess they just needed a warrant to get into her house. I guess they already suspected that. But ain't that like, what's it called? Ain't that, probable cause? If it smelled like a dead body, we in there, right? Or or am I wrong? I don't know. Ain't that probable cause? They use that on black people all the time. So I feel like that could have been figured out sooner as well, but maybe not. I don't know.
That their neighbor was living alongside it. At the end of it all, Peaches and Glitter just wanted a home for their family. A place their newborn could
Yeah,
follow
like if you
happily.
smell a dead body
Yeah,
or something
little
that
did they
smelled
know
like
what they were
a
getting
foul
into.
odor,
And
we
what was
check
waiting
it,
for
bro.
them
Warrant or not. And they went there
on the
multiple
other side.
times. W story though. But I guess you'd have to prove to a judge it smells like a dead human body. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But if we go in there after smelling it and check it, and there is a dead body in there, then we were right. Now, if we were wrong, then we go get in trouble probably.